our third game of Kill Team. We're just playing through the match play missions so far. So we're up to mission 3, which is Recover Intelligence. So we've got the 1,000 Suns facing off against the Adeptus Mechanicus. So plenty of requests for the Adeptus Mechanicus, so we thought we'll trot these out. So the Recover Intelligence mission is using this kind of deployment with triangles on either side, 6 inches from the centre. And there's 5 objectives. So there's one in the centre of each quarter, and then there's one directly centre. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 1 in the middle. It's hard to get a line of sight in Kill Team. It's right down there. There's another one up high, and then the other one is just behind that pipe in the distance. So how you score points in this mission, it's a little like a Maelstrom game. You score points at the end of battle rounds depending on if you're on objectives or not. So since we're on the 1,000 Suns side, if we were the 1,000 Suns, objectives in their deployment zone are worth 1 point at the end of each battle round. The centre one is worth 3, and then in the enemy's deployment worth 2. So 2 at the back there for them will be worth 2 if they capture them at the end of the battle round. And of course that adds up as the game goes on, so it's about taking ground and holding it. Okay, this is Adeptus Mechanicus, a recon team led by SV5150. He's the leader. There he is. And he's got an arc pistol and he's got a power sword. He's next in command is a combat specialist. He's a princeps, he's the infiltrator. He's got the taser gun and flechette pistol. We've got a sniper specialist here. He's got the plasma caliber, I think it's called. Comm specialist here. So he's got the enhanced data tether. Then we've got 5 other rangers here. So this one's got an art rifle, he's got an omnispecs, and then 3 ones with the galvanic rifles. So the guns are pretty self-explanatory. We'll just go over what these two do because it might crop up. So this is the enhanced data tether. It just means as long as he's on the table, we'll be able to reroll nerve tests. And the omnispecs, if you're within range of him, you get to ignore the penalty for hitting against units in cover. So those are 2 things that you don't normally find in other kill teams, and the guns are just the guns, various shades of death.
Alright, so this is Kill Team Sekmet, it's led by Sekmet. He's an aspiring sorcerer. He has a warp flame pistol and he has the force stave. He's the leader. Next to him we have a Rubric Marine. He has a Soul Reaper cannon. He's a demolitions tactic guy. And we have a Tzaangor. He is a Trust Bray and he has +1. He's a combat, +1 attack. He's a combat specialist. And then next to him we have another Tzaangor. He's a Zealot. He has +1 strength and +1 attack on the charge. And we've got 2 Rubric Marines. One with the icon dishes out a mortal wound on a 6. And we have 2 more Tzaangors to finish off there.
Okay, deployment for the Mechanicus. We've got everyone pretty much bunched up. We've got Ranger here, we've got the comm specialist, we've got the sniper, the leader is behind, and the infiltrator's looking after the leader. There's another Ranger here, another Ranger up top. There's the art rifle, and the omnispecs is up high also. 1,000 Suns, they're formed up in a triangle. So we've got the specialist over here with Zealot. We've got another specialist here. He's the combat specialist. And the 2 plain Tzaangors just there. And then in the middle we've got the cluster of the Rubric. So we've got the 2 basic ones at the front. There's the heavy weapons. He's a demolitions expert rather. And there's the aspiring sorcerer just right at the front there. So for the scout phase, as the Mechanicus player, we chose to booby trap a piece of terrain. You can booby trap D3, but we only rolled a 1, so 1 terrain is secretly booby trapped. So we'll not reveal which yet. We've written it down. We'll hopefully spring that trap later on. And the 1,000 Suns chose for forward sentries. That's what it's called. So they're going to get to move 2 models before the game begins. Like a movement phase if they wish. So 2 of their models will go forward, which is pretty crucial when you need to take ground and objectives. So before we determine initiative, the 1,000 Suns have done their take forward positions move. So the gunner has gone to here on the barrels. He's got a clean line of sight on this ranger here, and then the other rubric, we can just see him there, he's moved, or he's advanced all the way around to there, so he's taken that centre objective already. So we're going to have to move on to who's going to get the initiative for the first turn. This could be crucial. We need to try and get out of the way of that gunner if we can, if we do get this first turn as the Mechanicus player. That's a good start. Okay, we've beaten the Thousand Suns. We do secure that all-important first battle round turn. Okay, moving phase for the Ad Mech. So what we've got is two guys going out here. So they have moved, only a move though. So they've got, especially the Plasma Gunner, he's got a sight on that Rubric Marine that advanced forward. We've got another Ranger in support there. These three main people, well these two at least, are going to stay still. He's going to try a charge, but we'll come back to him in a second. He advanced all the way up to here. I haven't put a marker on him yet, but he's advanced. He's not going to be able to shoot, but he's in position to get this objective. And then three of the Rangers up top, they've just moved to the barrier here. Going to try and shoot whatever they can see. So that's a big deal for them. Well, also, it's very worth saying, we did play, or chose to play, Shroud's Arm at the start of the battle. So for this battle round, we're going to have an additional -1 to be shot at by any Thousand Suns. So it's going to be a -1 for being in cover, and then a further -1 for Shroud's Arm. So these three up top should be relatively safe. These two looking good-ish. This guy should be okay as well. So it's better to play, or make sure you play Shroud's Arm early, I believe. So that is it for movement, but we've got one more thing to do. What we're going to do is we're going to try and charge with our Infiltrator Princeps at the heavy gunner. We're going to have to survive the Overwatch, but this is what we really want to do. We're 7.5 inches away, so we're going to need a 6 on. Going to need 7 on the dice rather. But we're going to need a 6 because we chose to play one of the special Adeptus Mechanicus cards. Optimal Conditions gives us a +1 army-wide for charge rolls, but there's only one guy going in. So ultimately, what we're saying is we're going to need a 6 to get in on the gunner. We will Overwatch first because he can see. So he's got 4 shots from the Soul Reaper cannon. He's missed them all. That was very dangerous stuff, that Soul Reaper cannon. So we're needing a 6 to get in. Okay, so here we're going to need a 6 to get in. We failed. Oh dear, right, we're going to have to use a tactical reroll. So we're going to use our last command point to reroll, but it's unlike 8th edition where you can reroll one dice, you have to reroll both dice. Oh no, come on, get in there. He's done it on a 6, just did it. Okay, Thousand Suns, moving phase in turn 1, being very aggressive. They've moved 2 Tzaangors over here. So the first one moved over and revealed that this is the triggered piece of terrain, this item here. So, and then he chanced it going in as well, knowing it was booby trapped. But they don't roll a 1 and don't take any damage from the booby trap. Not enough high explosive packed in there. So they're okay, they've moved over there, they'll capture this objective. And then the rest of the rubrics, they go on through this way. We're going to have a look what's happened over there. Okay, so over here, the Princeps is obviously not wanted on this battlefield, so they've all moved in just about. The Sorcerer, he's charged in, he got his charge. This Rubric Marine just steps forward, he's going to shoot. This Tzaangor at the back here, he's advanced. This one tried to charge the Princeps, but just couldn't scramble up the boxes well enough. He rolled a big charge, but still he was looking for an outside chance getting up there anyway. So he's got 2 fighters here in this melee. So he's got this guy who we charged, and the Sorcerer is in there to fight the Princeps. So we're going to see some stuff in the combat phase, but the reason why he's got all of these models so close is because we're expecting a psychic phase here. He can use Psybolt in combat, and then there's an icon of flame there. He's going to try and shave off as many wounds as he can on the Princeps. Okay, so into the psychic phase, the icon of flame needs to be triggered on a 6. The closest model, no, the closest model would have taken a wound if that was a 6, which would have been the Princeps. Right, Psybolt from the Aspiring Sorcerer. It's basically a smite, and a mini smite rather, but he's failed it. He's going to have to reroll both the dice. It's not like 8th edition. He's used a tactical reroll here, and he's passed it on a 5. So that is 1 mortal wound on the Princeps. Only 2 more to go. So 1 mortal wound. We use white dice to show how many wounds they've taken. Red dice for how many flesh wounds have been taken. So yeah, Psybolt in this game is like a mini smite if you're familiar with that. So 5s to get off, and it's 1 mortal wound. If you roll an 11 plus, and it's D3 mortal wound, so it's big stuff in a kill team game. Right, we're going to launch into the shooting phase. We've got this Rubric Marine. He's the only model on the board that's actually readied up, so he's going to be able to shoot. He's going to shoot this Ranger here, so it's a -1 to hit because we're obscured, and it's a further -1 because of Shroud's Arm. So he is within rate of fire range, so 2 dice needing 5s to hit. He gets 1 hit, that's good going. Strength 4, needing a 3 to wound. Gets a wound, right, we've got 4+ save, but it's AP -2. Our Thousand Suns Bolt is, so we're down to a 6. We've got an invulnerable 6 save anyway, but we fail it, right, so it's time for flesh wounds at 2. We're good on a 2.
Command reroll.
So it's a command point reroll, or tactical reroll rather. Fails it again, so Thousand Suns don't have any command points now. Both sides are just going to have to deal with whatever they come up with. Okay, so it's basic shooters to fire now. So we're going to have this guy with the Omnispecs. He's not using his Omnispecs. He's actually going to gift that to the deadlier weapon, but he's just going to fire his galvanic rifle anyway. He's going to fire it down at the Tzaangor. So we are in close range, so that'll do. 4s to wound. Oh, that's good. We get 1 AP. In fact, they have invulnerable saves to Tzaangors. So 2 invulnerable 5s to make for that Tzaangor. He's failed 1, so he is slightly obscured because we're firing through that fence a little bit, so we're needing a 5 to take him out of action. No, so he's taking a flesh wound, but he's still ready to fight. Right, Thousand Suns is going to return fire. We're going to have this Rubric Marine. He's going to fire up at this Ranger. The reason why we didn't fire this guy off first is because we need to clear the Tzaangor out of the way to get to that Rubric and vice versa. So he wants to shoot at the special weapon, but the Tzaangor is in the way. So he's going to have to settle for this Ranger on the end. So close range, again, with Shroud's Arm. So 5s to hit because we're concealed and Shroud's Arm in effect. So no, misses both shots. Right, so we'll return fire with the same guy who's just been shot at. We're going to go down at the Tzaangor again. So he's not concealed because he's right on the barrier, and he's missed anyway. What a direct. That is it for Thousand Suns shooting. So I think it's the Adeptus Mechanicus just to take over here. Right, so it is Adeptus Mechanicus to take over on the shooting. That's all from the Thousand Suns. So we're going to open up with a plasma caliber. He's going to shoot at that Rubric Marine. So we've got a clean line of sight on him. We are a sniper, so we're reroll 1s, and we've got a +1 to hit because of the comms specialist within 6. So hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, we are going to overcharge because we feel like we need the damage to take away all this dust roll. So we get 2 hits, good start, and at strength 8 we are needing 2s to wound. We'll get both wounds right, so it's an invulnerable 5 save with 2 dice. He makes 1. But 1 goes through. Because it's damage 2, we'll get to roll 2 dice and pick the best for the injury result. A 6 will do it. That Rubric Marine has been taken down. That's the first casualty of this exchange. We're going to fire the art rifle now down at the Tzaangor because we can't fire at the Rubric because the Tzaangor is in the way. So he's going to tune up his gun. We don't actually need the Omnispecs at this point because we're saving that for the Rubric Marine, but we can't get to him yet. So 2 shots from the art rifle, and we're needing 3s to hit at this range. He's not concealed. Get 1 hit. Strength 6, we're needing, that'll do, 6. AP -1, but he has an invulnerable save all the same, so needing a 5, does not get it. Right, so on a 4+, he's going out of action, but we'll get a +1 because he's already taken a flesh wound. So on a 3+, no, he's taking a 2nd flesh wound. He's tough. Right, last guy to fire here. We're gonna shoot this Ranger at this Tzaangor, just peeking around the corner there. He would be obscured, but we're gonna have to take what we can get. We're gonna fire on that Tzaangor that we've been trying to kill. We've got a clean line of sight on it. We are in close range. So galvanic rifles got a close range of 15 inches, so very good for these. Alright, so we're going to need 3s to hit because we are in close range. We get 2 hits. 4s to wound, we get 1 wound, so he needs to save on the invulnerable 5. He fails it, right, so he's taken 2 flesh wounds already, so we've got +2 to this dice. It's a 1. He's got his 3rd flesh wound. He's teetering. He's only got 1 arm left, he's got no legs, but he's going to continue the fight. Okay, so it's on to assault phase. So we've got the Princeps to fight first because we do have the initiative. We just had a quick flick through the rules to see if we could fight the Sorcerer, but it's like 8th edition. You can only fight what you charged unless you were charged earlier before that. So can't do what we want to do, which is attack the Sorcerer. So we're just going to do what we initially thought the plan was, and that is to attack the Gunner. So he's got 3 attacks because he's the Princeps, and he's got an extra attack because he's a combat specialist. So needing 3s to hit, and any 6s are an additional 2 hits because he's got a Taser Gourd. So there's 6 hits in total at strength 6. So needing 3s to wound, that is a shocker. Only 2, and it's got no damage, or it's damage 1 rather, so all his dust will kick in, so you'll save these on 2s. We're hoping we'll get weight of dice against you, but but he has failed it all the same. That is big. No command points to reroll that either, for either side. So on a 4+ he goes out of action. Oh, it's another 1. Can't injure anybody today, so he's taking a flesh wound, but we really wanted to take him out there. Right, the Aspiring Sorcerer piles in. He's going to attack first since he is a charger. So he's got 2 attacks. Any 6s are Death of the False Emperor. He gets 1, so that's an extra attack to try and hit him with. And he gets 3. Right, so it's strength 6, that's stave. And we were only toughness 3, so wound on 2s. Oh, that's pretty bad as well. Just 2. And it's AP -1 stave. And we've got 5+ save against this. We make 1, fail 1, we can't re-roll it, and I do believe a 4 stave is D3 damage.
It is, yeah.
So D3 damage, so that will take us down to 0 wounds. Right, so that is a 3, so you've got to roll 3 dice, pick the best for the damage. So any 4s and we're just gone. Yeah, that's us taken out of the fight 3 times over, so the Sorcerer just cracks him in the back of the head with that stave. Okay, after that brutal fight, the Sorcerer carries on and he consolidates over to here, which is going to block this guy from holding this objective, so that's a bit of a wound to that Sorcerer. Is something special. Alright, so nerve tests. Nobody has to take a nerve test for the Thousand Suns because they're all clustered in nicely, giving each other support. However, this guy for the Mechanicus is not so lucky. He's going to have to roll. If we get a 6, it's bad. He's okay. He's going to hang in there. Points for this battle round. The very first one, it's 1 each. The Mechanicus control this objective, and the Tzaangors just around the corner there, they control that objective on the other side. This one's contested, so no one gets this one. And in the centre, we were able to kill that Rubric Marine who was holding the middle one. So nobody gets that one this round. So it's 1 each. Both sides have drawn blood. 1 model down on each side. But it was a big one for the Mechanicus losing that Princeps. That's a big blow. Battle round 2, let's see who claims the priority this time. So the Mechanicus get a strong 7, and that's only a 3. Again, the Mechanicus will go first. Okay, battle round 2, movement for Mechanicus. So we've had to have this guy just abandon ship. He's ran away all the way home. Over here, he ran 11, which is pretty good. Basically, because what would happen is we've got our plasma gun around here. We've got a few people who can shoot at the Sorcerer, but what would have happened is the Sorcerer would have assaulted this guy, wrapped himself up, which would have not made these allowed to shoot him. So we've had to run away with him. Hopefully he'll fail any charge that he might make, just so he can be a valid target. So this guy drops back a little just to elongate that charge from that creeping Tzaangor around the corner. He goes ready. The boss man goes ready. Up here, 2 of these go ready, and then this guy advances all the way around. We're going to try and get to that objective. It's no secret, it's pretty clear what's going on and what's on his mind. But there's a pocket of Thousand Suns there. I'm sure they'll have something to say about that. The Thousand Suns turn 2, and the Sorcerer, he's chosen not to go down there into that hail of gunfire. He's backing up a bit. He's got support from an advancing Tzaangor here, and this Rubric Gunner, he's joined him as well. So he has moved, so he will be able to shoot, and it's just a matter of staying out of 9 inches from the plasma culverin. Doesn't want to get in close range. He will take some shots, but that's the nature of the beast. Speaking of beasts, this guy, he's advanced all the way down to this wall, so he's not going to be able to charge. It was a long charge, so he's just taken the advanced move just to contest that objective. Over here, instantly in trouble, this ranger. He gets charged by the zealot specialist Tzaangor. He's going to use that massive club. It's bigger than him. It's probably the size. It's bigger than the size of his body. He's going to get hit with that massive thing. And then there's a Rubric who's moved from the boxes down here. He's a bit injured. He's the one with the icon of flame. He's moved onto the centre objective. That is the most important one. That's worth 3 points at the end of the battle round. So if he stays there, which it looks like he will, that is trouble. That's 3 points for the Thousand Suns. And these two, well, this one's contested. This one is up for grabs for the Thousand Suns as well. So it's going to have to be a good shooting phase from the Adeptus Mechanicus, forced into being in bad situations here. Going to have to tune up the gun and see what happens. So we're going to go into the static phase now, but it's worth mentioning our canticle, which we didn't say before. It is Chant of the Remorseless Fist. So reroll 1s in combat, but that's not really going to help us unless this guy performs a miracle from the Emperor. That's what it's going to take on that Tzaangor at the back. So static phase, first of all we do the icon of Tzeentch, icon of flame rather. There he is. It triggers against the nearest unit, so it's going to be probably this guy here. You don't have to have a line of sight either for this one. So on a 6 he's going to take a mortal wound, and he doesn't. Right, so we've got a Cybolt from the Sorcerer. I think this guy is the closest because he's on the wing here. So he's already taken a mortal wound, so this could be deadly to him. On a 5+ he's going to take a mortal wound. It's a 5, he's going to take a mortal wound, so it's a damage roll, an injury roll rather. On a 3+ he's going out of action because he's already taken a wound. He's still in there.
Command reroll?
Command reroll, okay, so tactical reroll in play. A 3 will do it because he has taken a flesh wound. So another model down, 2 models down now. That guy wasn't so important, but just having a psychic phase for Thousand Suns is proven to be a good thing. Right, so shooting for the Mechanicus, we're going to do all of our ready shooters because the Thousand Suns don't have any, so we're going to get to fire all these off at once. So the comms specialist, he's going to give us +1 hit roll to the plasma gun, and I think that'll be good. Yeah, we're going to go for that. Right, so the leader's triggered to fire, and he's going to do his pistol into this Tzaangor. So we need a 4 to hit at long range, and he's missed anyway, so he's shot. We've got this guy, he's going to fire into this Tzaangor. So 3 shots from a radium carbine. Needing 4s because he's concealed, and then 5s to wound because it's only strength 3. We get 1 wound, needs to save on a 5. Gets his save, oh dear. Right, flip those counters. Right, we're going to move on to these shooters, but they can't actually see anything. This lip is blocking all line of sight down to here, so we're going to have to go onto regular shooters, and we're going to tune up this plasma culver, one of the two. We're going to fire at the Sorcerer. We feel that he's the biggest threat, so to help him out here we're going to have a +1 to hit. We are at long range, so we're hitting on 4s. We're going to use the comms to make us hit on 3s, and then we'll be playing the special Mechanicus tactic, what's it called? Protector, Doctriner, Imperative. So it's 2 command points, so we're going to blow our command points to give us an extra 2 to hit. So it's because this Sorcerer has just got his kneecap behind this barrel, which means he is obscured, so we'll be at a further -1. So with all of our bonuses in play here, what it's going to mean is we're going to be hitting on 2s and re-rolling 1s, which is exactly what we want against the Sorcerer. And of course we will be overcharging to negate that, all his dust rule, because it's a higher damage. So a lot of rules explained and out of the way. Let's see if the dice will reward us. So 2s to hit against this Sorcerer. We hit them both. 2's to wound at strength 8. We get them both. We need to save on invulnerable 5s. He's still got invulnerable saves to fall back on. And they both go through. Right. So it's 2 damage, so roll for the best of 2. Because he's concealed slightly, a 5 will take him out. He's been taken out in a 6. It's gone down. The leader is out. So he's done it. Blessed by the Emperor, he's taken out the sorcerer, aspiring sorcerer anyway. We thought about going for the main gunner, but because he is the immediate threat now, he will shoot back. But we've denied him the leader, psychic powers, and being able to get command points back. So that was a big play there. But he will return fire now. Is he the one that you want to shoot? Okay, so he's going to return fire. Who will he be shooting at?
The plasma.
Right, so it's going to be vengeful fire here. So he is within 12, so he'll be hitting on full ballistic skill. So he's going to need 3s to hit on 4 dice. And he's only hit with 1, that was woeful. He's obviously rocked to his core, not having his guiding hand next to him. And it's strength 5, so you need a 3 to wound. He does wound. It's AP -3, but we do have an invulnerable 6 save to try and keep us going here. No, it goes through. It's only 1 damage, so on a 4+, he's out of action. And the plasma gunner is gone. He is gone. Tit for tat. Alright, okay, we've got the ranger here. He's going to shoot. He's going to shoot through this window. You can see the shoulder pauldron of the Thousand Suns with the Rubric Marine with the icon, who's on that objective worth 3 points. Could try and gun down this Tzaangor, but we need to block the Thousand Suns getting a 3-point objective there instead of just trying to wrestle this one. So here we go. We are in close range because we've got a 15-inch close range. So we're hitting on 4s because we're shooting through some cover. We've hit with both. 4s to wound, 6s would be ideal. Right, we get 1 hit. It's AP -1, so he's saving on a 3 because it's only damage 1, which means all his dust does kick in, which takes you back to the 3. And he makes it right. Comfortable stuff there. So it's back to the rubrics. So the Icon of Flame rubric, he's going to return fire. He has taken a flesh wound, but he's got transhuman physiology, which means he ignores the first one. So he's shooting through cover back at him, so he will be hitting on 4s, just like the ranger. So he hit once, needs a 3 to wound. He does get it. We've got an invulnerable 6 to save. We do not. On a 5+, he goes out of action because we're behind the cover. We'll conceal a little bit. He's out of action on a 6. Wow, it's all coming in for the Thousand Suns now. It was looking like it could go either way in the first turn. The Thousand Suns are comfortably taken over, it seems. And then we've got no more to shoot because everyone else has shot or can't shoot. But we do have this combat up here. So this Tzaangor, he is a zealot and he has charged. So he's going to get +1 attack and +1 strength. So he's hitting on 3s with 3 attacks. And he gets 2. And then he's wounded on 3s because he's a +1 strength. And he gets 1. In fact, he would have been on +1 strength. He would have been wounded on 3s anyway because these are only toughness 3. All the same, he's wounded him once. And it's AP -1. So we're saving on a 5. We need our luck to come in somewhere. Hopefully it's here. No, it goes through. On a 4+, he goes down. He doesn't.
Command reroll. Okay,
command reroll. It's the last one up the Thousand Suns sleeve for this battle round. And it does work. So he's taken out the threat to this backfield objective as well. So we've lost a lot of models now for the Adeptus Mechanicus. We've lost 4, 5 models. The Thousand Suns have only lost 2. Alright, so morale phase after everyone's fought. And we've lost over half our squad now. We had 9 models, we've lost 5. It's going to force us to take a break test. So we've still got our leader, so we're leadership 7. And we need to try and get under that. We're not broken, but it's time for nerve tests. But we don't have anyone with a flesh wound, so we're okay as the Mechanicus player. Okay, there's no nerve tests to take for the Mechanicus because there's no one with a flesh wound, but there is a guy here with a flesh wound, the Tzaangor. He's got support of 1. They've lost 2 models, so that means they're just going to have to +1 at the dice. So basically, if they roll a 6, it's bad and he's shaken. He's okay, only just. And then there is a Rubric Marine behind here. He has taken a flesh wound, but his leadership is high, so he'll be okay. In fact, scratch that, he will have to take one in the distance there because he's lost 2 models and he's got no support, this guy. So again, on a 6 he might be shaken. No, he's okay. Alright, so just calculating points for 1,000 Suns here, and it is pretty devastating round, this one. They've got this one for 2, this one for 2. They've got the centre one with the rubric in the middle there, so that's worth 3. And then they've got one guy up here, after that combat, just invited him to take his own objective, so that's worth 1. And there's a Tzaangor behind the pipe there, and he's taking that objective, so he's got every objective on the board, which means that's 9 points for this battle round. Yeah. So I think that's just going to sink the Mechanicus. We will fight on, we'll see how it goes, but that's 9 points to 0 because we're not holding any objectives. We're just forced into our own deployment zone. They've just proven too tough and we can't stop them. Right, we're into battle round 3 now, and the game normally lasts 4 turns, but I'll be surprised if we even make it that far. We're under extreme pressure here now, well behind on the points. It's going to take nothing but a miracle here, so we're going to have to see who goes first, who gets the initiative. It's a 10 versus a 7, so we'll get the first turn. It hasn't been serving us well. Maybe we should have, well, you have to take the first turn, isn't it? It's not a choice. So yeah, here we go again. Let's hope for something better. Turn 3 movement for Mechanicus. It's not good. We've got the comm specialist, he's moved over to here. Probably get charged, but we would have to contest this out at the very least. The leader, he tried to charge round at the rubric in the centre, but we failed our charge. We only needed a 6 and we failed it. Re-rolled it, failed it again. So he's just moved as far as he can. But basically it feels like the end is near here. We've had the 2 guys off the top that have dropped down onto this objective. The rubric's right there. We'll probably get charged, but we've got 2 guys on that objective. We just have to hold on and maybe we'll claim that one. But it's now over to the 1,000 Suns. Let's see what manoeuvres they do. Right, movement for 1,000 Suns. Nothing's really moved because they're going to do some charges. This guy's readied up, so he hasn't moved, and so has the rubric under there. But now it's time for charges. So who's charging first?
Okay, we'll start then. Okay,
so he's charging first. What we're going to do is we're going to play our last command point. It's our last ditch effort probably, and we're going to play the special Mechanicus stratagem. It's auto tracking software. It just means we get the Overwatch in a 5 or a 6. And he's got a Culverin, no, what was it called? A Radium Carbine, so he's got 3 shots and he's missed every single one. So, command point well spent there. So he's going to assault in, doesn't really need to roll the dice, he's in there. This Tzaangor, he's going to run in on these guys under there. See what he gets. Double 1, last command point. Do you want to re-roll that or are you not bothered?
Yeah, I'll give it another go.
Okay, he's going to give it another go. A 9, that looks good. So he's going to run in. He's taking 3 flesh wounds, this guy, so he might be flailing in combat, but he's shown a good willingness to Tzaangor that he's going to try and do what he can. Tzaangor likes flailing tentacles, so I'm sure he'll enjoy it as well. So he's going to drop down and try and get into combat as well. And that's a 6-inch charge, he's not going to make it. So, that's all movement. In fact, not yet. We need to overwatch with this guy. I forgot to overwatch him. So he's hit on 6s and he's missed anyway. So there we go. The world still turns. Alright, before we do the shooting phase, the icon of flame will be triggered. And the nearest is actually the guy with the arc rifle, unfortunately. So on a 6, he'll take a mortal wound. He does take a mortal wound. On a 4+, he goes out of action. He doesn't. It's a flesh wound. Okay, so he's hanging on. Got zapped by the powers of Tzaangor, but he does continue. Alright, so there he is, icon of flame. He's triggered to shoot first, so he's going to shoot. And who's he going to shoot at? He's going to shoot at the guy with the omnispecs.
Yeah, I'll shoot one of these, I think. This one here.
Okay, the omnispecs guy. So he's close range, couldn't get any closer, so hitting on 3s. And he's hit once, and needs a 3, gets him, needs an invulnerable 6. But don't get it, goes out of action on a 4. He's out of action. Okay, we've lost so many good half men, half machinery men. Alright, so the Mechanicus don't have anyone to shoot now that that guy's dead. Straight on to fight. So charges go first, so we've got 2 Tzaangors that are able to fight. So who's going to fight first with Tzaangor?
I'll do this one.
Alright, so he's got 2 attacks because he's nobody special, but Tzaangor should be enough to kill this guy. 3's to hit. Spoke too soon. Right, this guy is a priority charger, so he's got 2 attacks, but he's hitting on 6s because he's taking 3 flesh wounds. Doesn't get either. Alright, Tzaangor is having a laugh at you. Right, so we'll fight back then. So we've got this guy, 1 attack. Hits on 4. Gets him. Needs a 5. Oh. Look at that. Saves on a 5. Goes through. Goes out of action on a 4. No. That's all we've been getting this game. Just flesh wounds. These guys are not into killing people. Just removing limbs, but taking no lives. Right, this guy on this Tzaangor. Let's see if he's got something about him. Or if he's a pacifist as well. Okay, he's hit. Needs a 5. He gets it. On 5+ he saves. Does not save. Alright, let's see if he's going to summon the might of the homicide. He does. He's killed him. Alright, there we go then. He would have been out of action anyway, no matter what roll, because he has 3 flesh wounds anyway. So he's given an easy job there, I suppose. Okay, that is it for fighting. So it is morale check time for army wide. So we've still got our leader, so a 7. No, it's an 8. We are now broken. So everyone's at a -1, and we're going to have to do horrible stunned tests. So let's have a look. Okay, so I've lost 6 models, and we're only leadership 6 except the leader. So we're going to need 1s to automatically stay in the fight. So this, actually we'll do this guy first. So he needs a 1. No, we'll get a reroll because of the data tether thingy mabob. Nope. So he's shaken. The leader, he needs a 1 as well. He gets it, he's okay. And the man himself on the comms trying to tell everyone not to worry. Don't panic. So he needs a reroll because of his... Oh, that was almost a 1. So he's shaken as well. Anyone but the leader. Okay, 1,000 Suns. Still not enough casualties to break them yet. So, but they're going to have to take stun tests. So this guy needs a 3 to stick around. No, he's failed. So he's stunned as well because the 1,000 Suns have lost 3. This rubric under here, he's leadership 7 and he's taken a flesh wound earlier and he's fine. Okay, so just 1 guy stunned for the 1,000 Suns. Alright, so points for this battle round. It's another great haul for the forces of Tzaangor. We've got 2 here, 1 point up there, so there's 3. This one's contested, or both of them shaken, so it doesn't count, so 3 in total. And then he scores 3 by himself, because that would be normally contested, but because the Adeptus Mechanicus model is shaken, he doesn't count as scoring, so that Rubric Marine will just take that and claim it. So 3 between these two, and then another 3 at 6 to go with, oh yeah, 7 behind the pipe there, because there's still a rubric, a Tzaangor hiding behind that pipe. So 7 points there to go with the already handsome 10 victory points. It's a bit embarrassing. The Mechanicus only have 1. That is really bad. It's gone so wrong. And with people being stunned already, we're just going to call it there. We could play another turn, but nothing's going to happen. These two are just going to stare at each other blankly because they're both stunned. It's going to glare, and then nothing much else. This guy is just going to have to do it alone, but it's just no chance. Even if we scored 3 points, it's going to bring us nowhere near to that whopping 17 to 1. Just not going to happen at all. We're not going to shift these. It's over. We're going to just shut these guys' brains down as the Dominus. Switches them off and just lets them fall to chaos. He doesn't want these guys.